Cool. You guys ready?
Yep.
Buckle in your seatbelts.
1 second. Pour myself a little more wine.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh, DJ's got wine. He hardly ever drinks during the podcast.
There you go.
I have that effect.
You drinking anything,
on people.
Randall? What's that?
I have that effect on people.
I'm still on, what are these things called? The spritzers or whatever. I got one of those.
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
Got a couple of those in the fridge. Yeah, they're pretty decent, and they're really not bad for you. So, you know.
Yeah. They're nice and light.
Yeah.
Not too sugary.
Yeah.
You sound like old people.
Kind of are.
We are. Yeah, we are.
I mean, I say the same stuff, but it's like...
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pursuing Pixels. My name's Kevin Portelli, and I'm here tonight with Randall Nolery.
Hey, everybody.
DJ Mandolini.
Yo.
And for the first time ever on the podcast, we've got a special guest with us tonight. We've got Lewmoth, who is a game composer. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well.
Nice.
Good deal. Thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, of course.
For sure. And I know, you reached out to us and we've been talking a little bit back and forth on the podcast and, or not on the podcast, sorry, on Discord and in different chats and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I had played one of the games that you had worked on called Lianthus a while back and talked about it on the podcast that you worked with Dev Dwarf, I believe is his name.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his name or his games.
Fair enough. But yeah, I was a huge fan of that one and really kind of hyped that up on the podcast. And then after, when we were talking back and forth, I was like, oh, you worked on Lianthus. And then I've since checked out a few other games that you've worked on or a couple others. But yeah, we just wanted to kind of ask you some questions about game composing and whatnot. Unfortunately, John couldn't join us tonight, but he sent over some questions as well. So yeah, we'll just kind of have a casual conversation with you and talk some games as well and do a little something different on this episode.
Poor John.
But yeah, I guess like how did you first kind of get into the gaming composing or music in general? I guess I know that's kind of two questions, but
we'll start with music, I guess. So
perfect.
When I was growing up, I didn't really like music. I didn't really like listening to music, which is kind of weird. But I guess as I got older, I started playing video games, and the first game I ever played was Mario for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And
nice.
I just obviously it was unlike anything I'd ever seen before, so I was like, well, how does this even work? You plug these like 3 wires in and then I can like control a dude on the screen. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't think I want to write music right then and there. It was just more of a, oh, that's cool. And then later on down the line, I started playing like Guitar Hero, and I was like, well, this is fun, and it's got a lot of music. And then I started listening to music when I wasn't playing games, which was the Guitar Hero soundtrack.
Good entry point.
And then,
yeah,
as I went on, I forget what year it was, but like dubstep started coming around. And I was like, that sounds unlike anything I've ever heard. It sounds pretty cool. I like it. So then I figured out you can, like, people my age were making it. And I was like, oh, well, and I had a laptop, so I went over and I downloaded the demo, messed with the demo, and I've been hooked on making music that way since then. I just went a more traditional route with the knowledge that I had learning the DAW and how to make dubstep. But I started making dubstep, and then I moved towards more traditional music styles.
Awesome. That's really cool. And so are you like doing the composing like strictly like in the DAW, or are you using any like keyboards or MIDI controllers or anything like that? Or how are you doing your compositions?
Everything is in the box. I have and if you don't know, in the box just means that I'm doing it in the software.
Okay.
Awesome.
The keyboard is the only keyboard I have is the one with the QWERTY keyboard. That's what I use. I actually have a
nice
musical keyboard right next to me right now that I paid like $70 for, but I don't use it because I learned by putting in the notes with my mouse, and I haven't really I just I don't know. It's what I got used to, so I can't really use the keyboard in a way that most traditional people compose, I guess. So, yeah. No gear.
That's really impressive because the songs that I've heard of yours, like they have a really like dynamic, like organic feel to them. You know, they don't sound like, I don't know, some music in games especially can sound kind of like stiff or jilted, and like your stuff really sounds, it just has an organic feel from the games that I've played. So that's really impressive that you're doing it all in the box.
Thank you. Yeah, I've heard a lot about. Well, whenever I ask someone, like, what'd you think of the music? And they're like, it sounded like it was, like, live, like there was, like, people playing it. When I was younger, I started playing drums, and I quickly put it down because I was like, I don't really want to read music for drums and then just play drums. Because whatever I did, I wanted to make sure that I was really into it so I could throw myself into it and not just have, like, a hobby. I wanted to be really good at whatever I was invested in. So
yeah, I can see that for sure. And like, and drums themselves, like unless you have people to play with, I mean, they're really fun to play, but like it's not necessarily the most musical instrument, especially if you're interested in the composing side of things.
Right.
Yeah. But a lot of my music has like drums heavily in I don't know. There's just drums in places where there don't need to be drums, but just because I like to have drums in there. So
absolutely,
sort of like the Fear of Gears soundtrack. There's the main combat theme. It has drums, but they're like drummer drums. They're not like big orchestral drums. They're not like they're not really from anywhere. It's just like rock drums because I'm so used to just thinking of myself being at a drum set and playing like that.
Yeah, thinking of the Guitar Hero stuff, you know.
So,
no, that's really cool.
But yeah.
Yeah, so what software do you use when it comes to when you're doing like what do you find to be the most useful tool? Like, have you stuck with one DAW the whole time, or what have you worked with? And again, DAW, I don't know if we mentioned, but Digital Audio Workstation.
Yeah, thank you.
Is what that stands for.
Appreciate that.
I started with FL. Which back then it was FL Studio, well, Fruity Loops.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have heard of that. I when you said it, I looked it up real quick earlier, but I was like FL Studio. But yeah, Fruity Loops.
Sued.
Okay.
They got sued. I'm pretty sure. So they changed it to FL. Those sneaky people.
Good old General. What is that? General Mills that owns Fruit Loops.
Right. But yeah, when I started, it was like FL8. It's now FL20. So
Jesus,
and I haven't moved to any other software. I mean, as I started using FL, I figured out it can do everything that I needed and wanted, and then more. So it's just been great. I haven't needed to change software.
Makes it easier to get in the creative process pretty quickly that way too, if you just already have the software down like that.
Yeah, I'm so fast in FL. Like a lot of my clients are like, they're like, I thought you would be giving me a song tomorrow, and I'll be getting the song to them the same day that they ask for it.
Oh, jeez,
that is crazy. That's like your typical turnaround rate on that.
The Fear of Gears. There's only 2 songs there, but I was also doing another jam, so I had to write more music for that jam as well. But
jeez,
the Fear of Gears. I think Dwarf will tell you that I like to wait till the very last second to get to him.
Was that the creative process? Just the pressure chamber?
Part of it. Like I was sitting at my desk, like scratching my head. How am I going to pump this out? There's only like a couple more hours of the jam left, but
oh gosh,
I did it last time and the one before that, and I figured out this time. Well, part of it is there's only 2 songs, and the second song mostly is made up of the first song. So like,
yeah,
I'm a real good recycler.
That's the way to be.
Building on the theme.
Yeah, some of my favorite soundtracks are like stuff like Super Mario World, you know, where they kind of just keep using that same motif over and over again, where it's like, you know, you just keep getting sucked into the DJ's laughing. I know you don't love that soundtrack, DJ.
That's, you know, it's what it is.
What soundtrack is it?
Super Mario World, on the Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo. That's I know what you're talking about.
This is baffling to me that you don't know the Super Nintendo. Come
No, I
on.
know the Super Nintendo. It's just that. Okay.
Kevin's
It was the first game with Yoshi in it.
Right.
Sing
Okay.
it, Kevin.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about now. I know exactly the
Yeah.
soundtrack you're talking about.
Yeah, and that was the first game. That was the first system and game I ever played, or at least the first like game I like owned and played a bunch. So that's like partially why I'm so attached to that soundtrack as well.
I can't.
And
Classic.
I didn't grow up with a Super Nintendo, so I don't have that attachment. So
That's fair.
fair enough.
I never had.
That's fair.
I never had a Super Nintendo, but some of my favorite soundtracks are from the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, there's some great stuff on there. What are some of your favorite soundtracks as far as Super Nintendo or in general go?
Earthbound.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Yeah.
Kirby. Any of the Kirby games.
oh
yeah, man.
they're so good. Kirby's Adventure on the original Nintendo.
Oh my gosh.
so good.
Incredible. Makes that NES sing.
Yeah,
Poyo. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll get down on some Poyo.
Donkey Kong.
So, like, when you're building out these songs for a game jam and the pressure's on, obviously they can't send you a lot of assets. Like, they probably are giving you a general framework of what the game they're making is, and they're doing it as fast as they can. And at the same time, you're having to compose music for it. How does that process work?
Well, Dwarf usually shows me some stick people on a page, and then he explains to me what the stick people should be doing and what they represent and what's going to be happening in the game. And I'm like, okay. And then I wait like a day, and then he has more visuals for me, and I'm like, all right, cool. Now I can see something.
And you can just run off with that as enough inspiration to create. That's pretty cool.
The visuals?
Just to have the visuals and, what he's presented you is enough for you to run off and start making music.
Yeah, I
And kind of set the vibe of the game. Yeah.
I never play any. I've never played Lianthus. I haven't
Really?
played it yet.
It's a good game.
It's really cool. Yeah, I really like that game. And again, like the versatile, like the three that I've played, Lianthus, Control Co, and I played a little bit of Fear of Gears real quick. And like, again, there's like Control Co has this like really boppy, like upbeat, energetic, it keeps you in the action of the game. Like it just makes it so frantic in the best way possible. But then, yeah, Lianthus has like a ton of different vibes. I don't know how many different songs there are on that soundtrack, but it felt like there was like quite a few different like zones and settings that at least like the tone of the game kept shifting as I played through it. And then again, Fear of Gears, I really like kind of the just atmospheric quality of that as well.
Dwarf, I don't know if he fixed it or not, but when he published that game to the jam, he forgot to put all the songs into stereo.
Oh no.
I was like, because what happened was I saw that he was starting to upload things, and I was like, oh cool, I'll check it out. So I went over and I played a video, and the music sounded really quiet to the sound effects, and I was like, well, there's two reasons for this. Either one, he made the sound effects really loud, or the other reason would be he put it in mono, and that just makes the song quieter if you have a stereo source.
Right.
I was just listening on my sound bar. I was like, something's not right. So I went and I just checked, and I was like, yeah, did you put that song in stereo, Dwarf? He's like, no, I did not. I will fix that.
Whoops.
That's pretty funny. So are you not, like, when you are working on a song for a game, whether it's for a jam or otherwise, like, are you working on it? Are you working on any of like the coding or incorporating it into the game? Because I know you've done some like sound design as well. Like you do some like sound effects and that stuff too, right?
Yes, I prefer to not touch the software that they are using to make the game. I prefer to make everything in a way where they just have to throw it in and it works.
Gotcha. So you're just giving them like the audio files and then they're plugging that into the game as they see fit or whatever.
Right. I'm starting to do this thing where I mix the music and the sound effects on my computer, and then I send it to Dwarf, whoever it is, so that when they throw it into their computer or the game, everything is already mixed correctly. They don't have to touch the volumes of everything because I've already done it on my end.
That's awesome, because one of my biggest complaints when playing games is like, I know you mentioned it on the Lianthus when it was first uploaded in mono. Like so many games that I play, the sound effects are so fucking loud.
Yep.
Like it's unbelievable. Like the first thing I do when I boot up a game is check the settings and see if I can turn the sound effects down because it's usually too loud. And I always think, wow, how hard is it to just check that? So it's awesome that you're thinking of that step.
I know.
In the process.
It's amazing to me how, like you said, loud the sound effects are compared to, and not even just the loudness, like the quality of some of these sound effects are just like, it's just like glass shattering in my ear. And
yeah, they're super compressed and like just really kind of
yeah. It's like, don't these people have ears? Can't you hear your game?
I want to hear the music.
Yeah,
I mean,
or just like a good blend of everything. And
right.
So when it comes to making sound effects, are you doing that from scratch, or are you using like a sound effects library, or how do you go about that process?
I do. All right. Well, some of them I do from scratch, which to me, I mean, that means a lot of things, but to me, from scratch means sometimes I will literally take like a sine wave if depending on the sound, of course, I'll take the sine wave, add a couple effects to it, maybe slide it up and down really quick at the beginning, and then maybe have a fade out at the end, and that'll be a sound effect. Or some other times, it can be just a sound source, and then I heavily modify it so that it doesn't even sound like its original source, and then that's the sound effect. Right. Or sometimes I'll be really lazy, and I can't make a blade sound effect really out of nothing if they want a realistic blade sound effect.
Right.
I mean, I can make an 8-bit or a 16-bit or even a 32-bit blade swing anytime, but to get that sort of fidelity, I have to go to YouTube and I have to steal a blade sound.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah.
But
that's awesome though. What do you prefer, one or the other? Like, do you prefer working on music, or do you prefer working on sound design, or do you like the whole process together?
I hate working on sound effects. It's just I don't know. I would rather write music, and that's probably obvious, but it's just sound effects. Some people enjoy making them, some people don't. I can't tell you why. I feel like it should be the developer, because the developer they should be able to hear their world, sort of. They should be able to hear what kind of sound effects they should have for their weapon or whatever. And I feel like that would just be extremely tedious to tell me each and every sound effect and what it should sound like. I don't even think they did that for Ocarina of Time. I'm pretty sure Koji Kondo just like did the same thing I did. It looked up like footstep, found a footstep he liked, and then threw it in the game.
He's like, I just want to work on the soundtrack, guys. Right. That's what I do.
Right.
Yeah, that definitely seems like the more fun part of the process. Although I can imagine it can be frustrating if you're like hitting a wall, especially if you are on that pressure of like a game jam or something. Right. Like, do you ever get like writer's block or whatever you want to call it?
Oh yeah, writer's block happens a lot, and how I usually deal with it is I'll just sit there and I will continue. I live streamed me composing once or twice and uploaded it to YouTube, and you can hear me just like listening to things 10, 20 times over again, and then I stop and I don't add anything, and then something comes in my head and I'll just write it down. It's sort of like traditional writer's block that everyone thinks about how it reacts and how people deal with it. I'm not really any different. I don't have any weird like I don't go get a cup of coffee if I have writer's block and then it goes away. There's nothing like that. It's just I just got to keep being persistent.
Keep at it.
Yeah,
good.
Or wait
good
for it
you.
to just come back. Yeah,
yeah.
Not easy.
Yeah.
Are there any like particular genres of games that you prefer writing music for, or is it kind of like a case by case basis? I'm
trying to think of a genre of a game that I would not like to write for. I can't really. I'll write for anything as long as
like them all.
It looks fun, I guess, or it looks cool to me, I guess. I don't really have as long as it doesn't look cheap or bad.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, how do you go about finding projects to work on? Like, do people reach out to you? Do you reach out to people? Combination of both, or?
What I literally do is I go to Twitter. I scroll up and down for a couple minutes. I find something I like. I go on there and I comment. And I'm like, hey, this looks really cool. I'd love to share my portfolio if you are hiring a composer. Thanks. And that I can't tell you how many times I've texted that to how many people. That's just
yeah.
That's how I do it. Sometimes I'll go through my followers and I'll be like, oh, they're making a cool game and they're following me, so maybe they want me to write for their game. And
right.
So that's the majority of how I get my clients. It's scrolling through Twitter and seeing a cool game and literally just asking if they have a composer.
That's awesome. I mean, we've definitely made, just through the course of starting this podcast, we've made a bunch of connections, like to Dwarf and to a bunch of other devs and stuff like that, yep. And yourself and whatnot. So yeah, I really like that community. And like, how do you feel like there's like a scene that you're like part of or whatever? Because I know these game jams kind of feel like, you know, they remind me of like I said, John and I play in a band together, and that's like, you know, you have like your little indie band scene. Like, does it kind of feel the same or similar? I guess I know you said you haven't played in bands or anything, but does it kind of have a like scene-ish kind of feel to it when you're like working with devs over and over again? Like, do you kind of have a sense of camaraderie and whatnot?
Camaraderie.
Yeah, like do you like working with the same people again and again, or do you? Because I know you've worked with quite a few different developers and whatnot. Do you enjoy kind of working with the same people again, or do you kind of like exploring new territory, or just happy, like you said, to work on anything?
I think me and Dwarf, this will not be our last jam. I will be doing more jams with him.
Nice.
I like working with him. We know how we work and how we vibe, I guess. So it's a very comfortable, cozy spot for me as far as jams go to do it with Dwarf. So, but I'm not really out there searching for new people to do jams with, because I don't know. I would much rather make new games with new people. I mean, a jam is still a game, but I mean, the bigger projects I like to disperse out. But the jams I like to do with Dwarf because it's comfortable.
Yeah, and you only have like a weekend or 2 days to get it done. So it's like, hey, I want to work with someone I know there's going to be like no issues.
Right. This past jam was the first jam that I wrote for two jams, or for two different game jams.
In the same jam, you wrote for two different games?
Yes, I was writing for Fear of Gears, and I was writing for, oh God, I sure hope the other person doesn't watch this. I forget the name of the game. I'm just going to be honest. I forget the name of the game, but
that's all right. There's so many games out there, man. It's totally
just
fine.
A couple.
I worked on two though. Yeah, I wrote for that game, and I wrote for Dwarf's game. I wrote for the other game first, and then after I was done with that, I then started with Dwarf. And to be honest, I felt more pressure was on Dwarf and his team to get stuff done. I don't know. I'm so comfortable with writing fast, so I just kind of feel bad for Dwarf because there's so many bugs that can happen in a game, and you put the game out, and like one bug happens and the game is unplayable.
Right.
Whereas the music, it's not really going anywhere.
Right. Pretty accomplished developer though, so kudos to him for doing these so effectively time and again.
In those situations, do you find you have like more autonomy because the developer can't spend as much time with you, like going back and forth on the composition?
It's kind of devilishly nice because no matter what I do, he can't say no.
That makes sense.
That's awesome.
Dwarf, here's the song. Do you like it? If you don't, whatever. Put it in.
You're out of time.
Shut up.
Yeah, the time expires on the jam in 2 hours. So like
plug
it
in,
not.
buddy.
What about at the moment? Like, do you have any projects that you're currently working on right now, or anything that you're like super excited about coming up, or anything that you're wanted to kind of plug or share? and no pressure on that end.
Have you heard of Tomb Toad?
Yes. You're working on that game?
Yes, I'm doing the soundtrack for that game.
Heck yeah,
Nice.
That game looks so cool.
Yeah, that's all. It is cool.
So
I'm
what is
excited.
the do you know the developer of that one? If not, we'll put links in the episode description and whatnot, but do you know the developer of that one off the top of your head, or do you know like what the game's going to be like at all, if you're able to share that?
Well, he shares it on Twitter just about every other day, so
That's where I've seen it. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the name of the Twitter account is Mission Control Games.
That's what I'm seeing on here. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but that's him. There's another game I'm writing for called Eadvox. It's a racer game. EDEVOX. The visuals are amazing to me. I mean, it's like a rainbow Mario Kart sort of, but it's not Mario Kart. It's like a dungeon.
Okay.
I can't even explain it. It's you're racing through a dungeon and you have AI racers trying to kill you. I'm not even sure exactly how it works, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. If you're talking Rainbow Road and killing each other on while racing, that sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah,
my words cannot explain it, but there's that. One of the first games I wrote for is about to come out. It's because it was a big RPG Maker game. It has like 36 songs in the soundtrack.
Whoa,
Jesus.
It is large.
Is that coming out on PC exclusively, or is that?
Yep.
Okay.
It'll be coming out on just PC because it's a RPG Maker game, but yeah, it'll be coming out on PC. And have you ever heard of Everhood?
I don't think so, no.
Everhood. It is... Okay, so if you can imagine Guitar Hero plus Undertale.
Okay. You've hooked me so far.
The trailer for it is amazing. It is the biggest project that I've been a part of thus far. And it's got like... Somebody played it on YouTube, but it's got like 100,000 something views on someone just like playing the game. The game's not even out yet.
Yeah, it's coming out next year, like early next year, it looks like, huh?
Yeah, I'm super stoked for that one to come out. And although I have not written anything music-wise for the game, the developer has taken a bunch of my songs. I mean, I've allowed him to take them. And he's putting them in the soundtrack and making boss fights to them, apparently.
Awesome.
So, like...
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really... I didn't even know what to say when he approached me about it. It was awesome.
So he approached you in this case to work on this game, or just specifically about using those songs?
He approached me if he could use my songs in his game, the songs that I had already written that were just sitting around on my YouTube that I wasn't really doing anything with.
Okay, and he wanted to like make some like rhythm-based combat or whatever to that?
Yeah, so as you can imagine, there's not going to be... I don't know if there's any motifs that are going to like repeat in the game due to how he's structuring the soundtrack by just like asking people to put their songs in his game.
Yeah.
But there will be a lot of variety, definitely.
I very much see the Undertale influence. I'm looking at screenshots right now. I'm into that.
Yeah,
and we just started. Randall and I just started up Undertale recently.
Did.
That was like we did like a holiday episode, like right around the New Year's last year, and that was we each picked like a resolution game that we were gonna play that we haven't started yet. And I was like, I'm finally gonna start up Undertale or play Undertale, but I've only played like an hour or so.
I was so excited when you did that though, because I also needed to play it. It'd been sitting on my shelf forever, so.
Yeah, that's another reason we started up this podcast. It's like we got to like make ourselves play these games. DJ has no problem with it. He's plowing through his backlog constantly.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have played as many indie games as I've played if it weren't for you guys. So.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, syncing up and like trying to play, like have some stuff to discuss on episodes. Yeah,
for sure. I would have missed out on Hades, and I can't get those hours back.
I'm terrible at playing games.
Outside of the music aspect, what I know you just said you're terrible at playing games, but what kind of games do you like to play if you do like playing games?
Let me clarify. I'm not terrible at games. I'm terrible at playing games, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm dumb and don't get it. Can you please elaborate?
You would have to pay me to like play a game that I have never played before. But I am very good at Smash Brothers.
Which one?
And well, I started on Melee.
Nice.
I was really good at 4, and then Ultimate came out, and then now I'm playing Ultimate, and I'd say I'm decent. I'm definitely not bad.
Who's your main?
All right.
Everyone else, I know we talked a little bit. I'm not a huge Smash guy, but yeah, everybody else on the podcast plays at least a decent amount, especially John and Randall.
Oh yeah.
I'll say 3 that I like to play a lot. Donkey Kong, Jigglypuff, and I love playing Wario, but just to piss my friends off because I like fart on them all the time.
Yeah. Jigglypuff is tough. That's not an easy character to play.
Oh well, if you
timing that sleep, that's tough, man.
Well, what I usually do is my friend will he'll get on the edge, and then right when he comes up, I'll jump and I'll do the sleep thing so that if he jumps up, I get him. If he rolls, I'll be falling down and I will get him.
One way or the other.
Strategy.
We should maybe sync up and play some Smash sometime, see who's the best. Although again, I don't have Smash, but
John is the best. There's no doubt.
I don't know. DJ's just good at every fucking game.
No,
so
nah, man.
I don't know, but yeah, John has put like hundreds. Yeah, John's put hundreds and hundreds of hours into that game.
It just took up too much space on my Switch, and I have a memory card, so I can't keep it on there that long.
I, for one, think Minecraft Steve is a great addition to Smash Brothers.
I do too, and that was such a cool, unexpected thing since Microsoft owns it. But I guess they've already did that with Banjo, so it shouldn't be that unexpected. But very cool.
Sakurai implemented that character so smoothly.
I still haven't watched the trailer yet, but I'm gonna do it. It looks really. I
saw some. It looked like you also carry some extra resources that are kind of right next to your health bar. I didn't look that much into it either, but it looked pretty interesting. And it definitely wasn't what I was expecting.
Looks great. I can't wait to play it.
He always puts the extra effort in with those guest characters. I love it.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
He's also very tired.
Yeah. Just constantly working on that game.
Yeah.
What about anything other than Smash? Anything that you've played recently, or anything that you, I don't know, just any other games or soundtracks or whatever that you really enjoy?
My favorite game ever made is Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door.
Oh, good man.
You are on our page.
Yeah, such an amazing game.
It is, yeah.
It's incredible. It's perfect. The soundtrack's great on that game too.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime, amazing.
Oh, where's John? He talks about, he always tries to sequence break and speed run Metroid Prime all the time.
It's his favorite game, period.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Nintendo. I play a lot of Nintendo games when I do play. The one game that I play a lot that is not Nintendo is Little Big Planet 3.
Nice.
Okay.
Because I just love prototyping games in there, because you can literally make games in there. So
right.
Dwarf, I will come to him with a prototype that I made in Little Big Planet, and it'd be like, I really like that. We should make that into a game. And then that's cool. That's how Dungeon Duo started, actually. I don't know if you remember that game, but Dwarf made that one.
No, I don't know if I've played that one, but I'll definitely have to check it out. That's really cool. I never thought about using another game to prototype a new concept or whatever. That's really cool.
That is super cool.
But yeah, so I play that a lot. I have fun with that. And but yeah, other than that, I don't really play a lot of games. So Smash Brothers, Little Big Planet 3, maybe some Mario Kart, but I'm terrible at Mario Kart.
It's all luck anyways. Just those blue shells and all the random items.
It's just BS.
Luck,
Kevin.
It's not entirely, but it's 80%.
50%.
I'll say 50.
Yeah, 50, 60 is fair.
50, but still 50% luck in a racing game. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to approach it more like a Mario Party perspective, I think.
Exactly. It's definitely, if you're like getting people together to play for like 4 people on the same screen or whatever, or playing online, then for sure. But if you're just playing like I don't know, I got kind of bored with the circuits in those games over time. Like I used to try to get every cup and get gold on every circuit or whatever, and I kind of gave up on that on the last Mario Kart.
It's no 4-stock Battlefield, no items for sure.
That's right. Love me some Mario Kart 64.
Oh yeah. Although turning is fucking impossible, and like if you've played a recent Mario Kart game and then you go back to 64, you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, we're all pretty big Nintendo fans over here. I don't want to put DJ is probably the least Nintendo fan out of us, but he's still a fan, I would say.
Yeah. I
say you're a fan.
I'm a fan, but I'd say my loyalties are more with Sony.
Oh, weird. I hadn't realized.
I can talk about
if you join our Discord. My PS Plus logo.
Well,
you have a PlayStation as well, right? Because if you're playing Little Big Planet.
Yeah, I have a PS4 and a PS3.
Nice.
Some of my I forgot. I want to name some of the PlayStation titles that I absolutely love.
Yeah, fire them off,
please.
Kingdom Hearts,
of course.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Yes, sir.
And Little Big Planet. that's
yeah, that makes sense.
You haven't played
some of those have like
yet? The new God
what's that,
Deej?
Oh, God of War. Yeah, not a God of War fan.
The new one.
All right, so like God of War is amazing to me. It's like a movie.
Yeah,
the newest one. I haven't played that yet.
I haven't either.
It's amazing, but when I think of a video game, it's not really like a theatrical thing Kingdom Hearts, Jesus, most theatrical. It's very theatrical.
Very, very Disney theatrical. Yes.
I don't know. I don't know why I can't get into like God of War or The Last of Us or any of those big like games where they're kind of like movies. They're like interactive movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you with Last of Us.
I don't.
I
do too.
Feel like we're in the minority with that.
I mean, Last of Us, it looked like it had a tremendous amount of effort put into it, and the graphics and everything were beautiful. And I don't know much about why people hated it, but I just know some people just can't stand that game.
I really enjoyed it, but I know there's some contention on that issue on this podcast.
Yeah, well, anyway. Even in general, there's always like whenever there's a game that does so well, and then there's always such high expectations for the sequel. I know everybody was like, it wasn't the story that I wanted. It's like, well, you're playing a story-based game. It's like when you watch a movie, a horror movie. It's not like you get to pick which characters die.
You're not going to get what you want.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
watching my friend stream Last of Us, and I was like, haven't I seen zombies like 100 times before?
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. That's how I felt playing the first one. I've never played the second, but that's
it's
how
like
I felt
the best example of that.
I was like, can't they like
fair.
Bring back aliens? Aliens were cool.
Aliens are cool.
Close Encounters, that movie from Steven Spielberg, that movie was amazing to me.
Oh yeah, and the soundtrack, like especially at the end of the movie, is so great.
John Williams.
Yeah. Genius.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Although I was looking at Koji Kondo's stuff, and I don't know if you guys know, but that's the composer for Mario and Zelda.
Oh yeah,
Zelda and a bunch of Nintendo. Yeah, we're big Koji fans.
Yeah. Dude's a genius.
I was looking around, and there's always someone out there who makes a video. If it's a big composer, they make a video comparing the song that they made and then a song that came out like 10 years before that song was made. That sounds very close to what he wrote, Koji Kondo.
Yeah.
And that happened with the Dragon Ball Z composer dude, and the composer for Metroid Prime, and the composer like John Williams and Koji Kondo, and they're all like these motifs are extremely similar to the motifs found in the game.
Yeah. Well, even with Earthbound, it was like maybe even a little too familiar. Like, I think they just straight up like used songs. Like, I think that was part of the reason they had such a hard issue, like putting that out on Virtual Console over the years and stuff. When
I was like a long time ago, I heard the quote that everyone's heard. That's like, good composers, I forget what the word they used right here was, but good composers write and great composers steal. And I was thinking about that. And I was
Does that hold true for you?
Well, to me, the Earthbound thing, I know they literally like sampled some of the songs that they threw in there from other songs.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think in that case, it's so cool because I don't know how to explain it. If you can blatantly steal the theme and then it's extremely appropriate for what you're using it for,
right?
I'd say that they should have a pass.
And Earthbound is such its own quirky thing anyway.
Clever, if it's clever enough and it's well like integrated into the game so that it makes sense thematically and everything, I understand what they mean now by great composers steal. Because if you can if there's like a shark boss in a video game and you literally sample the Jaws theme and you add something over that and just make it fit into the game's aesthetic and everything, I think that's genius that someone had the state of mind to use the Jaws theme in that clever sort of way.
Yeah, if Vanilla Ice can get away with stealing Queen and David Bowie's song, right. I mean, it's just like we added a little ding and it's different. So, I mean, yeah, if they can get away with that, I mean, they're definitely doing a lot more work with that Earthbound soundtrack. And I guess one thing I kind of wanted to ask you about is like, so when we're talking about stuff like The Last of Us or like these bigger AAA games, God of War and whatnot, like I personally lean way more towards, and I think most of us probably do, like more towards like the retro, like melodic type soundtracks as opposed to like, I mean, when I'm playing a newer game like Super Mario Galaxy or this or that, like I get swept up in the moment of like these huge orchestral, pieces or whatever, but like they're very rarely memorable. You know, they fit the mood and they're awesome, but they're just like a movie score, kind of like you were saying. They're interactive movies, but it makes them feel even more like that. But I prefer to be like humming the tunes in my head after I'm playing the game.
Yeah, to me, it's like the difference between Hans Zimmer and John Williams. Whereas Hans Zimmer, he did the Batman and Pirates of the Caribbean. He did Inception too.
Okay, yeah, he does like the Christopher Nolan stuff a lot. Yeah,
good soundtracks
for sure. Yeah,
a lot of his soundtracks, they're more texture based. It would seem.
Yeah,
and I feel like if you have melody and texture, which is what John Williams has, why wouldn't you go that route? I don't know.
Yeah. I agree completely. Yeah, I love having like a little ditty stuck in my head after like it sometimes I'm sure makes me like a game more, but like without a doubt.
Yeah.
You're going to have texture
if I like the soundtrack
no matter what.
Yeah.
So might as well have a good melody as well.
Exactly.
But I guess that's my thought on the AAA games having those big texture-based soundtracks.
Yeah. It's like it's cool in the moment, but not so much like I'm not looking to buy the vinyl of the soundtrack.
Yep. Not worth searching out. No.
Yeah. Well, what about you guys? You guys have any other questions for Lewmoth or Lewmoth? Is there anything you want to talk about before we kind of wrap things up tonight, or?
I'll take questions first because I can't think of any questions myself.
Perfect.
I think I used up all the ones I had.
Yeah,
Go, DJ.
I'm pretty much an idiot when it comes to music stuff. So.
That's fine. I'm an idiot when it comes to podcasting.
Hey, we are too. We are too.
You did a pretty good job
figuring it out. All right. Well, I guess nobody has any more questions. So, but yeah, we're super, super stoked and thankful to have you on the podcast this week, Lewmoth. They're really, really excited. Love, like I said, I've only played 3 games that you've worked on, but I'm excited to check out more of them because I've really, really loved the experiences and the soundtracks have been a huge part of that. in the games that I've played. So just thanks so much for joining us. And as always, you can find us online at pursuingpixels.com. We're on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. Links are in the episode description at the bottom, and we'll have links to all Lewmoth stuff as well. But where can people find you on the internet, Lewmoth? Where would you prefer them to look you up?
Mostly Twitter and YouTube, because Twitter is where I can talk to people and have conversations, and YouTube is where I put all my content, really. So those two places.
Awesome. And yeah, we'll definitely have a link to your YouTube in the episode description as well, so people can check out some of your work and some of the games that you've worked on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And that's Lewmoth, by the way. It's Lewmoth. So just in case. But again, links will be in the episode description. But thanks for joining us as always. And thanks again, Lewmoth. And we'll catch you next week. And until then, take care.
Yeah. Thanks, Lewmoth. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Okay, yeah, cool. But let me, once you start a new one, let's get another clap in real quick so I can sync that up.
Also do that at the end.
Oh, yeah, we could just do it at the end of the conversation, yeah. Just don't let me forget Deej.
That's right.
Who do you think you're talking to?
A DJ never forgets.
That is very true. Although he's drinking wine tonight, so
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see.
Fast and loose.
Water over wine.
All right, we're good. I just started the second thing. So, all right, what was the question? Sorry. Oh, I remember.